This is Don Blackburn with Indoorman. Coming to you again this week. For those of you that are adamant viewers of this show, you know I was not on last week. I took the week off for a couple of reasons. There was a lot going on, but also my birthday was last week. So took a day off, shortened my week a little bit. And for those of you that are curious, yes, I turned 39 again. I'm not going to say how many times I've turned 39, but I am back and doing the show again this week. Joining me this week is another one of our systems engineers, Chris Nutter. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Don. Birthday.
Thank you. Belated birthday. I'm, 39 and 1 week old now. So
looking pretty good.
Thank you. No, and I just thought I'd start off our conversation today with the question that's on everybody's mind. It's all over social media. It's just, you can't turn around without someone talking about it. And that, of course, is poison ivy. I understand you've had a little run-in with poison ivy lately.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I was cutting down a tree. I thought it was poison ivy. It turned out to actually be poison oak. Kind of learned something new, which is poison oak grows in trees. Poison ivy is usually on the ground. The unfortunate thing was I didn't get it very bad, but I spread it to the rest of my family, gave it to both my sons and my wife. So they weren't real pleased with me.
Not popular in your house right now.
That's right.
I gotcha. And one other question before we go into the technical and career stuff. One other question I had to ask you. I know you're a motorcycle enthusiast, and I'm trying to get there. I really want to get into motorcycles. So understand you just bought a new bike.
I did. So I was fortunate enough that my wife let me get a new bike. I was looking at Ducatis. I love Ducatis, but this time I ended up going with the 2020 Fatboy. I added a couple modifications to it. Probably the biggest modification was what the wife wanted, and I had to put a sissy seat on the back so I could the kids and the wife a ride.
Gotcha. So you went with Harley, still American made, right?
Correct.
All right. I like that. Very good.
A very good brand.
I've actually seen it out in the parking lot. It looks like a sharp bike. I'm sure you're going to let me ride it, right?
Yep, very happy.
That would be a foolish move. I would wreck that thing in a minute. But well, turning to the tech side. So I like to ask the developers as they come on, how'd you get to Kansas City? How'd you get into IT? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I got into web development in 2000, and it was by complete accident. I was actually going to school out in Lawrence. My next door neighbor came to me and said, "Hey, I have a web project. Have you ever done anything with the web?" I hadn't. He said that he was doing a contract for the Kansas City Zoo and wanted me to help out. And so I helped him out just with basic front-end images, tables, and I literally fell in love with it. It was right then and there. I realized that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. From there, he went from the zoo to John Deere. He brought me on as an intern, and then I ended up as a full-time employee. Loved John Deere, loved the company. From there, went to a bunch of different places, but kind of one of my highlights was the Department of Defense. Got to work on a flight and fuel project. After that, I went to different universities, Grantham University, North Carolina, and then I ended up in finance. Then when the finance thing ended and I was looking for new jobs, I've always worked for very large companies. I happened to run into an ad about Active Logic, came in and interviewed, and I just fell in love with Active Logic. I loved the environment, loved all the guys here. It just seemed right up my alley, and it's been the best decision that I've made.
Outstanding. And I would agree. It's a fun place to work.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's good. So what would you say your favorite project has been as a developer?
The project I'm working on now is really cool. It's for ag techs, and basically it's for ag techs to go out into the field, and they do surveys, they take videos, they take pictures.
Hmm.
It's a mobile app. It's kind of close to my heart because it's dealing with agriculture, and I came from a small town. I
Hmm.
think whenever a developer can work on something that they find interest in,
Hmm.
it kind of gives them a little extra motivation. Um, but I would say that's my second favorite that I worked on. My first was the fuel and flight because it was dealing with fighter jets and getting them refueled in the air.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't had any military service. My dad served for 3 years, and I grew up on base on Leavenworth. I really have a respect for servicemen and women, and getting a chance to actually help them out and design and build Napa was really fun.
Outstanding. That does sound like fun. Was that here in Kansas City?
That was here in Kansas City. Yep.
I didn't know we had anything like that here. So, Department of Defense?
Yeah. So I worked for a contracting company,
Oh,
and the contracting company hired me to work at the DoD. I think it was a 12-year or 12-month contract, and
hmm.
then it got extended out a few months after that.
Very cool. And I know the project you're on just recently was submitted to the App Store, the iOS portion at least that you were on. Uh, Next phase, it sounds like there's going to be follow-up phases. So it sounds like your ongoing project's going to be working with that ag tech for the next few months at least.
Yeah, it's really exciting because they kind of came into the app with a general idea of what they wanted, but they
Mhm.
really had a good vision of phase one. We'd like to get this accomplished, capture pictures, videos. Phase two, get more information about the crop and the health. What's really interesting too and fun with the app is they have different companies they work with, so they tailor the surveys and the look and feel of the app. So it's been fun. The intent team is an amazing team. I enjoy working with all of them. Mike, who is kind of our leader, he's an amazing guy, and I've just really enjoyed working with them all. And as a developer doing it for 20 years, I can't say that happens a lot, right? So you work on a lot of projects, but you don't necessarily always enjoy the project. Or if you do enjoy the project, you don't necessarily always get the benefit of enjoying all the people you work with. And so
Sure.
on this, the company's great, the project's great, and the team I'm working with is amazing. So it's a win-win-win.
Good. Glad to hear it. Well, we're sure happy to have you. And personally, I'm invested in that project myself personally. So I certainly appreciate the hard work and the effort there as well. So, and we should probably let you get back to it because I know there's a couple of things to wrap up yet this week. So we'll wrap it up for this week. But for those of you watching, please go visit us out on our LinkedIn page at Active Logic Labs. Feel free to leave any comments for me, questions for Chris, or anything else. And then tune in next week. I'll be back with yet another guest, maybe somebody from outside of the organization this time, just kind of a spoiler alert. So tune in next week. And for this week, I'm Indoorman, and I am out.